The US Secretary of State has arrived in Israel tonight, his latest stop on his latest Middle East mission. It is his fourth in 3 months. The desperate hope that violence in the region might still be contained through diplomacy. But even today, there was more evidence of how the war extends beyond Gaza's boundaries. A senior commander of the Iranian-backed terror group Hezbollah was killed in southern Lebanon this morning. Security officials there say Israeli airstrikes were responsible.
Every airstrike is a roll of the dice. Every death designed to warn also risks provocation. In this car, a senior Hezbollah commander was killed today, Wasim al-Tawil, a field general in Hassan Nasrallah's elite military unit, directing operations against Israel from Lebanon. It may only serve to incite another escalation. The Israeli Prime Minister visited his troops on the northern border. We showed Hezbollah what happened to its friends in the south, he said. We will do everything necessary for security here. Much of the world has watched in horror what is happening in the south. Today, Israel declared the one working hospital in central Gaza to be in a combat zone. Many staff fled in fear. The World Health Organization calls it a medical and moral outrage.
They are seeing, in some cases, hundreds of casualties every day in a small emergency department. Yesterday they said they had one doctor working overnight in this emergency department with hundreds, in some cases, of casualties coming in on a daily basis.
In the north of Gaza, Israel claims to have now defeated Hamas. But elsewhere, where there are hundreds and thousands of civilians sheltering, the fighting is as intense as ever. Even this country's allies accuse Israel of making many plans for war, but none for peace. Somehow, Antony Blinken must chart a path to de-escalation. He is helped a little by what Israel calls a new strategy in Gaza.
When even your closest ally, the United States, says too many innocent men, women and children are being killed by Israel, does that not at least give you pause?
We will win this. We have no choice. And I think we will be moving more into counterinsurgency and counterterrorism, less to full-scale battle, the sort of thing we've seen up until now. And I think with that, you'll see the number of civilian casualties go right down. And hopefully we'll be getting more and more Hamas killers.
Tonight, Hamas launched a huge salvo of rockets towards Israel. Some were intercepted over Tel Aviv. The war, Israel warns, will continue for many months.
And we can speak now to John, who's in Tel Aviv tonight. And I don't think it's any underestimation, really. Every time Antony Blinken flies into the region, his job becomes harder, appears harder.
Yeah, that's right, Julie. And I think that killing in Lebanon today is indicative of the United States' lack of control over the course of this war, lack of control over Israel's conduct of the war. You might remember right at the very beginning of this, Joe Biden came to Israel and he warned Israel, look, be aware of the mistakes America made in the wake of 9/11. In other words, be cautious. It is only today that the government here is talking about scaling back the intensity of its offensive in Gaza, and I doubt it feels that way in Gaza tonight to the people under attack. And at the same time, Israel seems intent in pushing Hezbollah as far as they possibly can in the north. Nevertheless, Mr. Blinken is in the country tonight. He says he's a man with a plan to scale back the intensity of this war, to get aid into Gaza. And he concluded his remarks before he arrived here saying there is a way to chart a practical path to a Palestinian state. He then added that these talks will be tough. That, Julie, is massive diplomatic understatement.